With Jedi Survivor right around the corner, sometime in March, I thought it'd be the perfect time to discuss its predecessor. Welcome to the Swacklog. Today, I beat Jedi Fallen Order. Fallen Order is somewhat of a spiritual successor to the classic Jedi game series. It contains many elements similar to that of Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy, and yet it is so much more than just a simple sequel. Most of you already know the setting. 14 years before the Battle of Yavin, as in the first movie, we meet Cal Kestis, a former Padawan, and as a result of Order 66, he was forced to hide out on the junker planet Bracca. Without spoiling anything, your main goal is to essentially find your purpose in the galaxy, whilst regaining your connection to the Force along the way. Right off the bat, the devs flaunt their graphical prowess. It's a gorgeous game, and unlike a significant amount of modern titles, the facial animation is actually decent. It squashes, it stretches, or at least it tries its best to. A lot of recent titles have fallen victim to mascot suit syndrome. You know, cutscenes where the characters look like they're wearing human suits whilst talking, as opposed to, well, you know, being human. In my opinion, this game just barely manages to slip by in that regard. From the very beginning, Fallen Order actually gives parkour a massive spotlight. From jumping to running on beams, climbing, swinging, sliding. It'd be foolish of me not to assume that they were very inspired by games like Uncharted. There are so many massive set pieces and cinematic sequences that are very akin to Naughty Dog style, placing a large emphasis on immersion. A heavier emphasis on platforming works very well for this game. Considering you are a Jedi, it does get minorly repetitive near the end game, but I never found it intrusive. But that is not all, as the main gameplay is melee lightsaber combat, and it's some of the best we've ever seen. Being able to gracefully vanquish your enemies with a well-timed slash is nothing short of delectable. Very early on, you're given the opportunity to upgrade your lightsaber into a double-bladed lightsaber. Now, what I really like about this is that you can swap between the single-bladed and the double-bladed at will. Single-bladed being better for one-on-one encounters, and double-bladed being better for crowd control. Throughout the game, you learn new Force and Saber skills by way of a skill tree. You slowly build up skill points by defeating enemies. It's very similar to how Sekiro handles skill progression. The combat simultaneously maintains its own unique feel, whilst also making it very apparent that this is, for all intents and purposes, a Souls-like. Telegraphed enemy attacks, meditation points, these are basically bonfires. Parries, upgradable stim packs that refill at bonfire meditation points, harder than usual gameplay. Okay, yeah, obviously this game is nowhere near as hard as Dark Souls, but it'd be silly not to make note of just how much it draws from the franchise. Now, in contrast to its cooler older brother, Fallen Order has 4 difficulty settings: Story, Jedi Knight, Jedi Master, and Jedi Grand Master. I began my file on Jedi Master and quickly bumped myself right down to Jedi Knight. Look, I'm all for a good challenge, but I wasn't exactly interested in that much pain and suffering. Despite seemingly being compared to Dark Souls more so than any other game, I found that, whilst playing through, this game is actually a mesh of many different genres and mechanics. Narrative, platforming, exploration, combat, puzzle. It has the traversal of Uncharted, the Dark Souls combat, the Metroidvania environments. It may just be me, but I was surprised at just how much it drew from other popular games. Now, that isn't to say it's unoriginal. The game takes these gameplay concepts that have proved themselves throughout the industry and combines them into one pretty good amalgamation. In a sense, it echoes the industry. You see the joke? It's because Cal can sense the echoes of the past using the Force, which is actually a pretty cool mechanic. It allows you to learn more about the world, despite arriving at planets long after their golden age. The game gives you some XP if you decide to sense these mostly optional Force echoes, which is a decent enough incentive. You can discover some interesting, albeit very optional lore. Luckily, Force Echoes are not the only collectibles. You'll find many cosmetic upgrades throughout your adventure, ranging from BD-1 skins to starship paint jobs and lightsaber parts. So many lightsaber parts. You also get different poncho colors, which are cool. There are some winners, but most of them make my eye sore. Oh, wait, did I mention the sound design? It's so good. It's so good. I could listen to all day. Alright, it's time for the spoiler segment. Please skip to this timestamp if you want to hear my final verdict without spoiling yourself. Guys, the Kashyyyk tree segment was genuinely beautiful and I love it so much. And it's really cool that you get a poncho out of it. I know I just ragged on the ponchos earlier, but having one that actually means something is cool. The second sister twist was kinda lame. I could see it coming from a mile away. She's a cool character, but it's a trope I feel like I've seen far too many times for it to excite me anymore. Earlier on in my playthrough, I had made a note that the game needed more lightsaber colors, and man was my wish granted. There are so many new colors by the end of the game. The final boss fight was actually pretty tough. Still not Dark Souls level, but a good challenge. And the ending was good, but it felt somewhat rushed. I enjoy the themes and ideas they pushed, but there just wasn't enough build-up to justify Kel's actions by the end. Overall, Jedi Fallen Order is a spectacular game that will hopefully serve as a solid foundation for its sequel to improve upon. At first, I was gonna give it a B, but by the end of my playthrough, I felt comfortable bumping it up to an A-. You should definitely play this game. Thank you very much for watching. This was the first video of a new series I've been working on called Swacklog. There are going to be these short-form video essays that are essentially me recapping my experiences with the game in my backlog. Please leave whatever feedback you have and let me know if you enjoyed it. Again, thank you very much for watching, and if you enjoyed, consider subscribing and giving the video a like. This is Swack, signing off.